All right, let's dive right into this because it's a fascinating and really complex story. We're talking about a cricket dispute that has basically peeled back the curtain on some much deeper political tensions. And it all starts with a single player's contract before spiraling into a full-blown national crisis. So it all comes to a head on this one day, January 15th. But not with the roar of a crowd, but with total silence on the field. A huge match in the Bangladesh Premier League, their biggest T20 competition, it's just called off right before it was supposed to start. And this wasn't some rain delay or a technical problem. No, this was a full-blown player revolt. The cricketers, and we're talking about guys from both teams, they just didn't show up. It brought the entire league to a grinding halt and forced everyone to ask one simple question. What on earth could possibly lead to this? To really get what's at stake here, we've got to trace this thing from the very beginning. We'll start with that match that never happened. Then we'll uncover the, let's call them, fiery words that lit the fuse. From there, we'll see how it all connects to a massive World Cup standoff. And then we'll zoom out to the political game being played way beyond the boundary line before asking, where does this leave everyone? Okay, so let's start right where this crisis just exploded into the public eye, turning a regular league match into front-page news across the entire country. And the unity here is just staggering. I mean, this wasn't just one team being upset. The Cricketers' Welfare Association, which represents pretty much all professional players, they issued this really stark ultimatum, a nationwide boycott of all cricket. And they had just one demand, the immediate resignation of a single board director, a man named M. Nazmul Islam. So this begs the question, right? Who is M. Nazmul Islam, and what could he have possibly said to get such a drastic, unified, and immediate response from the entire cricketing community? Well, here's the first verbal grenade. He aimed this at Tamim Iqbal, one of the country's most respected and beloved cricketers. And his so-called crime? He simply suggested that the board should, use dialogue to solve its growing dispute with India, not emotion. And for that, he was publicly branded a traitor, an agent for India. And then there's this. This perfectly shows the other part of the problem. As the board was threatening to pull the team out at the T20 World Cup, Nazmul publicly just trashed the players' value. He suggested they didn't deserve to be compensated, and maybe they should even pay the board back for bad performances. I mean, it was a direct shot at their professionalism, at their very livelihood. But here's the thing, comments like these, they don't just happen in a vacuum. They were the explosive results of a conflict that was escalating incredibly fast between the cricket boards of two nations, a conflict that was now threatening the biggest T20 tournament in the world. Just look at how fast this all went down. On January 3rd, India's board forces an Indian Premier League team to release a star Bangladeshi player from his huge contract. Boom. The very next day, Bangladesh fires back, demanding its World Cup matches be moved out of India. Then come Nazmul's insane comments, the player's threat, and finally the boycott and his firing. A full-blown national crisis in less than 2 weeks. So, here's the million-dollar question. Why would one player's contract set off such an intense, almost instantaneous international reaction? Well, to understand that, we have to look way past the cricket pitch entirely. And here it is. This is the final, most important piece of the puzzle. Back in 2024, the ouster of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who was a close ally of India, completely fractured the relationship between the two countries. India then gave her exile, which created a huge rift with the new government in Bangladesh. So with all these simmering political tensions, the backdrop was already explosive. And cricket, which gets most of its money from the Indian market, well, it became the perfect arena for this political fight to play. So where does this leave everybody? The players made their move, the board responded, but the World Cup is now just weeks away. So really, we're left with two separate but totally connected battles. The internal one, the players versus director Nazmul, that was a decisive win for the players. Their boycott worked, he got sacked. But the much bigger external conflict, the standoff between Bangladesh and the international cricket bodies over playing in India, that remains completely unresolved. The ICC, which is cricket's global governing body, has already said no to their request to move the game. And today is January 15th. With the clock just ticking down and neither side showing any sign of backing down, Bangladesh's participation in one of cricket's biggest, most important tournaments is just hanging by a thread. And it leaves us with this one last crucial thought. In this high-stakes game of political chess being played across the boundary line, it's so often the players who get treated like pawns, and the millions of fans who just want to watch the game they love who end up paying the highest price.